I see lots of people who are really working very hard every day to make music, to become famous and for money and fame. And I don't like this. What you say with your instrument is important. If you don't have anything to say, you have to shut up.
Also, we need to play our own folkloric instruments which they are born in the soil.
Having played concerts in over 50 countries and on every continent but Antarctica, the group is known for their ceremony-like performances and colorful costumes that bring the spiritual and rebellious traditions of Anatolia into the present. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming.
Hello.
So I want to start with Zen. So before Babazula, you both were in a group called Zen that was formed in the late 1980s. So I want to ask about how you met, how that group started, what the music scene was like in Istanbul in that time.
Yeah. We first met with Levent Akman at high school. So, and we were playing in different bands, but at the same school. And then at the university, I wanted to continue, and our vocalist at Zen was at his class. And then we started doing some improvisational psychedelic music. The music and art scene was very tragic around 80s because of the military coup. I was born into artist family, and all my relatives and all our friends of the family, they were artists too. And some of the, I think, best and biggest names on many disciplines of art, like Yaşar Kemal or Aziz Nesin, Turgut Uyar, Edip Cansever. And most of them, they were either prisoned or taken to court, or so many bad things happened to them, and many of them couldn't use their passports, including my father. So the art scene was something like that in the 80s. So we just created some kind of underground vibe and doing everything ourselves, not caring about press or what was going on with the popular culture, and we started doing what we really wanted to do. We recorded our albums into cassettes and then multiplied them and sold at the concerts. And we were influenced from our geographical culture very much. But we also liked the world culture and rock and roll, psychedelia, and blues, and many things. So we combined it. We were also very influenced by the 60s music of Istanbul and Anatolia. So we were very influenced from the genre called Anatolian rock. But we extended this into long improvisations and multidisciplinary ways of doing performances. Nowadays, we are re-releasing one of our live albums with Zen, called Zen Bakırköy Akıl Hastanesi'nde, which is kind of an asylum for the mentally disoriented people.
And you played a concert there, right? For
Yes.
the patients?
Wow. For the patients, for the doctors, nurses, and some people also came from the outside world, but mainly to the patients. The aim of the concert was to play for the patients. And we recorded It's and digitally it's also available, but on vinyl I think it will be very good example of a Zen concert. So Zen was doing a music using electric sounds again and Turkish percussions along with bass and drums. And our music and lyrics were completely improvised. Also, we were a multidisciplinary band using elements of visuals, movies, photography, dance, poetry at our gigs, and still this approach is inherited in Babazula as well. And we became a very popular cult group, and we could create our own stories. These stories became legends, and there was no compromise in doing music. We didn't do anything to become successful or being rich and famous. Mm-hmm. We did it for the sake of music, which is very important, because nowadays I see lots of people who are really working very hard every day to make music, to become famous and for money and fame. And I don't like this. This is not a good way. And however successful they might become, music is another thing. And Zen had no compromise. And also Babazula. The difference of Babazula with Zen is really big. Babazula is improvising, but we are not improvising completely. We are improvising within the form of a song. And this song scales, harmonies and lyrics might be predetermined, but still there is lots of improvisation.
And I'm curious about some of the traditional instruments you guys use. So obviously saz is a really important one, saz or the bağlama, which has a very, very long tradition in Central Asia, Anatolia. You also have percussion like kaşık and all these different things. I'm curious how tradition comes into your work as Babazula and what it means to you.
Yeah. I believe in a link, of culture, like geographical, cultural link with where I am born and where I am fed and I'm drinking the water and eating the food of, So, and I am always listening to many things. Like I listen to the radio and many things, and I'm really interested of the voice of the country. I think every geographical place has a soul of its own, whether it can be like a village, a town, a country, a nation, kıta neydi ya?
Continent.
A continent, also the world, even the Milky Way, it goes on and on. Like these things, I think they have a certain character. And it is very precious that you are born somewhere, and even if you go to some other place, you have a connection with the place you're born. And if you go to some other place, you take this place's soul to, and then you get them together, and this becomes, I think, your character. And in art, I believe the most important thing is originality. It is not technicality. Lots of people, they can be very technical, but art-wise, I'm not interested in technical virtuosity. It's something mechanical for me. art is something different. One guitar player or like millions of guitar players who are graduated from a conservatory can be like 10,000 times better guitarist than Kurt Cobain, for instance. But they cannot influence that many people with their guitar playing. Mm-hmm. It's not important, you know.
The point is to be original, have something to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
What you say with your instrument is important. If you don't have anything to say, you have to shut up. But many musicians, they are playing and they are making noises with nothing to say. This is very sad. Lots of artists, they are telling something, doing songs that are nothing. This is very sad. In Babazula, we have many things to say, and with what we say, these stories, how we tell these stories, how we told them is through some traditional instruments. And these instruments, like where they are born, where they are from, which geography they are from, does have a history. They have a story, they have a culture. When you see a saz, you see Turkish people. You don't see Greek people. I love Greeks, but saz is not Greek. Bouzouki is Greek. When I see bouzouki, I remember Greek people. This is or Greek music. So this instrument really belongs to this geography and this culture. And telling these stories through them is, I think, very important and very sincere. Sincerity is another notion that has been lost. Everybody is kind of like pretending, you know. They are pretending to be more handsome, they are pretending to be more powerful, you know, more beautiful, having a richer life, having a better life. Most people, like everybody almost, they are always pretending. We are not pretending. We are what we are. We do what we like. And we don't want to sell our souls. This is very important. Selling the soul is not a story. It's a fact. I see people selling their souls with art or with other things. We are talking art, so you can sell your soul with art. You know? You can sell what you did, but this is okay. This is not selling the soul. But if you're planning, when you're making your art, planning to compose a song that will be popular, that will be liked by the millions, this is selling the soul, I think.
And when music is authentic and real like that, like you're talking about, it can have a real sort of political power to it.
Yes.
And I'm curious, you know, we've seen a lot of challenges in our moment in terms of music in Turkey. During the pandemic, there were these bans on live music, and some of that has continued. All last summer, there were bans of music festivals. I'm curious why you guys think the government is often so hostile to music.
Yeah.
Why these kind of bans are happening.
Yeah. Do you want to answer?
Well, I want to start from your first question, and then
course.
I will come, because it's really connected. In the 80s to 90s, we have a blank cultural movement in Turkey because of the military coup. They cut all the cultural things before them. The Anatolian music, because they said these guys is like communists and they are bad. So they wanted to create a new era, you know. In this period, even there is no bars playing playing music places, you know. I remember that one night in, I think, 1984 or 85, with my class friends, we wanted to go to some bar to listen music. We got on a car, like 5 guys, tried to go to far away because the bars and the music places are very little, you know. And in the middle of the road, some civil car stopped us. The guys get off with machine guns and asked us, "What are you doing this night?" The time is 10 o'clock in the night, you know.
Wow.
We shocked. We are like teenagers. We wanted to go to outside and, you know, the teenage mood, you know.
Of course.
We shocked, and they asked our IDs, and we tried to answer that we want to go to somewhere to listen music. They talk with their wireless, blah blah, like 15 minutes, and then said, "Okay, you go." But we back to home. Unfortunately, you know, think about this mood, you know, because of this kind of era, we built our communes, underground communes. One of is Zen, you know. Zen is a school, music school, and in this period, some musicians and some guys didn't want to stay at home. We gathered some places and did some music, totally improvisation, as Murat said. No one knows what we'll play when they are going to stage, you know. And this era went to like this, and the 90s came on. The leftist guys and some coalitions happened, and the right guys burned the Galata Bridge, because in down of this bridges some rock bars happened and some actions happened there, and they burned. And all this community went to the Beyoğlu Istiklal Street, and it started to some bars, some musical places happened.
So by the 90s, things started again.
Yes, yes, slowly. But always some rightist guys push this kind of movements, try to push. But the other guys, like us, no, we said we want to do music, we want to do something, blah, 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 blah. And in the 90s, in Zen, also we play some places, and me and Murat wanted to add some instruments like saz, like kaşık in this band. But some guys didn't like this. Also in this period, lots of people are very against using Turkish instruments like saz, like darbuka, like kaşık, you know. But we decided that we want to use these instruments because we are living in Turkey, in Istanbul, Anatolia. we are not living in USA or London. Okay, if we live there, we will play guitar or some Western instruments. Okay, we play also this, but also we need to play our own folkloric or instruments which they are born in this soil. So lots of people against us, and me and Murat wanted to use these instruments. And then film director came to us and asked film music for Zen, and we watched the film. Some guys didn't like, we liked, and okay, me, Murat, and the other guy from Zen decided to do music with this film.
And this ended up being a famous film, right? What is it called?
Somersault in a Coffin.
Somersault in a Coffin.
Yeah, the director name is Dervish Zayn. And we use lots of Turkish instruments in it. And big success came in. Because, as I said before, in all 80s period, nothing happened. And lots of communities and the underground guys living in this film is very successful because of it. These guys hold this film, and a new era started. And Babazula came like this. And we continued with Zen and Babazula, and then Zen fade away and Babazula still exists. Because of it, we are using still these instruments. We are living in Istanbul and Turkey. Nowadays, lots of people said, okay, no problem. But in this period also, they attacked Murat. Why are you using the electric sax? Why didn't play? Why don't you play acoustic? What?
No, it's not traditional
What
enough.
are you saying? I can't believe in my
it's
ears.
absurd, yeah.
It's very absurd, yani. And also, we use belly dancers in our concerts. Lots of people attacked us. What are you doing? These are the whores or the bad girls, so blah blah. This is not art. What art is? So, because of it, we are using our traditional instruments. I answered.
Of course, yeah, thank you. And then coming back to the present, so you talked about the
yes.
darkness of the 1980s.
Yeah.
What do you think about the darkness of today in terms of music? How do you see the situation? It's a hard question.
Yeah.
They want censorship, and they don't want anything against them being told, whether it's in art form or just an expression. They don't want this. Look at the pop star Gülşen. She was joking with one of her band members using Imam Hatip. How do you translate it? I don't
It's
know.
like a religious high school to train imams and
It's a
clerics,
metaphor, and that was a joke within the band during a rehearsal. And because of this, she was taken to court. She was taken to prison. And then another guy says, we have to cut the heads of these leftist guys, and
nothing happened.
Nothing
right?
happened.
Yeah.
So this is not a balance, unbelievable. If you cannot talk against them, you cannot say that an earthquake happened and we have no water. These people at this geography of the earthquake, they are crying out for water. And if you say, hey, these people say they don't have water, you become a person who's questioning the power of the state, and you become conspirant, whatever. I don't know. Yani,
I think you're a conspirator just for talking
yes.
about what's happening.
Yeah.
How about for you? How do you see the situation?
Well, it's like somehow after the coup, but more powerful because they have money and put money everywhere. They are trying to impose their thinkings and ideas to the society. They push. They want create a new society which in their heads, but it's very old. It finished. Sorry. Yes, it's this. That's the reality. they don't like music. Look, it's still forbidden till 1 o'clock in the night.
Yeah, you can't have live music after
It's
1
forbidden.
a.m. still.
Yes, 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And that was something
Yes.
started during the pandemic, which was already strange. It
Yeah.
still
Yes,
continues, yeah.
music spreads viruses. It's funny. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
They tried to, but they didn't success. In the atheism will uprising in Turkey now is 13%. 20 years ago is 2%. Think about it. So they are hopeless. They will lost at least at the end. But it's bad that we lost 20 or 25 years in our lifetime. And my age is like 56, and I have maybe 20 years, but I am thinking that I lost my 20 years. What happened in our country? That's not good. But music and the culture will always win because they don't believe this and they haven't this kind of cultural things. So we have, I think, 38 days to a new era.
Yeah,
I hope. Yeah, I have hope.
Yeah, it will be a new era for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Whether it's bad,
Yes.
worse, or better, it
Yes.
will be a new era.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you're right, music always survives. And
Yes.
it reminds me of a Babazula song, aşıkların sözü kalır. The word of the bard or the poet, the aşık stays, it remains.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's always a constant.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, but
Yep.
Levent, Murat, thank you so much to both of you for being on the show.
We thank
It
you.
was a real pleasure.
Yes.